Hello everyone, today we shall be doing a tutorial on how to do line art. I'm going to show you today how I do line art personally. If that is something that piques your interest, then I suggest you continue watching this video. Let's go. Okie dokie, so here we are in Procreate. For this tutorial, I will be using commission I am currently working on. They have a face that I will be lining. So I'm going to hide everything else and I'm going to reduce the opacity down to 30%. I just do a rough sketch, get down all my lines and all the shapes and everything needed. That's the most important step. I shall be going over it and making everything look nice and clean. The brush I'm using is Tailored Textured Line Art brush. This brush is available for free in my Gumroad. I shall link it down below for you guys. And now I'm on a new layer and I can begin lining. I'm not one to use long strokes like this. I prefer to use strokes like this, which I feel like we're always told not to do, but you see, it's just the way that I instinctively draw, so I just like to take my time, go down the face with, you know, I would say a fairly small brush. I feel like this brush is pretty forgiving. You can't see where, like, the little ant lines I'm making. As I said, we're always told to do strokes like this, but I personally just find that really difficult. And I much prefer to take my time and just do little tiny strokes like this. It works for me. One of my main pieces of advice is if you want to have clean line art, don't feel bad about spending the time to do it, because, alright, let me tell you this, it takes me, I think we all know by now that it takes me a very long time to do nice and clean line art. Realistically, it's probably about 4 to 6 hours depending on the size of the piece. Like for this one, it won't be as long because it's not as large. It's, you know, only a bust-up commission. Line variation is very important. And by that, I mean, I can show you a little example. I'm just going to do a quick sketch. It's going to be very egg shape. The egg shape is ideal, and we should all strive to achieve it. Okay, so we have this penguin here, right? And I'm going to bring this next to it, and I'll demonstrate to you the penguin without line variation versus the penguin with line variation and diversity. It's more so just changing the amount of pressure that you put when you draw. So obviously when you press lighter, it's a lot lighter. And then the harder you press, the darker it goes. Already, in my opinion, this penguin looks a lot better than this one because of the variation in the lines. Try not to make all the lines incredibly dark. You still want to maintain some of that transparency, but it's good to have a mix of both. Well, those penguins can just hang out with us while we draw. And I'm gonna move on to the eyes, which I think is a very significant part of my process that I always record. Here's another little demonstration of use of line weight. For the eyes, I like to be a little more wild with my approach. I usually start with the outer corner, follow along the sketch. I bring it down. I initially start off fairly light-handed, and then later on we shall gradually go harder and harder, darkening up certain areas of the eye, or the upper eyelash, upper eyeline. As you can see, now I'm going to start drawing in the lash line, and I just do that by this. If you're interested on how I draw eyes, I have a tutorial on it, though I don't think it's very good, but I will link it anyway. I'll make another one in the future. It was my first tutorial, so I definitely will make more in the future. And yeah, here I like to leave some of that sketchiness to it because in my opinion it adds character. It's not perfectly black, but I do like to make it blacker in the middle. It just looks nicer to me. Now obviously for the wing, I'm gonna bring that all the way out. With eyelashes, I don't do this. I never do that, to be honest. I actually do it the reverse. And I never used to do that before I switched to Procreate. I just found that the way Procreate operates, it's different. You know, instinctively you go out like this. I just could never get good lashes that I was happy with. I just enjoy the control I get doing lashes this way. Now for the lower lash line, I'm gonna take into account the waterline and leave a little space. And I just kind of structure my lashes in this way, rather thick. I'm gonna draw in the eyelid because I add a lot of textural elements during this stage with the eyes, like in this portion, like how I just did. And I like to do the same down below, representing an eye bag. Just do a little bit around wherever you fancy it, really. I may make the upper eyelid a little smaller, just like so. And now I'm basically just gonna repeat the process on the other eye. So now I'm gonna move on to the mouth. It's a fairly similar concept to the way I approach the eyes, and that's just, I start off fairly light. I think I'm gonna start off here. My little lines once more, and just follow the sketch. Okay, and even though the nose isn't gonna be shown in the final image, for the nose I like to go pretty heavy-handed because it is open-ended, so it looks fine when it is fairly heavily drawn. Except for this little part here, I like to go lighter and do some slight shading. I just think it looks cute. And I'm just gonna draw in the iris, and then we shall be done with the face. And just like that. Okay, so that about wraps up the tutorial for today, and I just thought I'd lay out the key points for you also. The first one is take your time. You want to take your time, do not rush, do not feel pressured to be speed artist, because some of us just aren't built that way. You could be slow like a turtle like me, but you know what they say, slow and steady wins the race. I find that it yields the best results when you take your time. Second is line weight. You want to have variation in your lines. I personally think it just looks more aesthetically pleasing in comparison to lines that are sort of uniform and there isn't really any diversity there. And just a quick way to do it is just basically to be outlining. Next is technique. Technique, I just mean don't force yourself to do long strokes if you find that you do better using little teeny tiny strokes gradually building up your line art. And I just say that because the time you spend trying to change the way you instinctively draw, you could have spent that, you know, just building your skill with the way that feels already natural to you. Fourth is your brush. Now, I advise you to find a brush, obviously, that you like. And if, whether that be just one of the default brushes, don't feel pressured to use the same one as me. And yeah, it takes time to find a brush that you feel comfortable with and accustomed to. It can be slightly frustrating at times. You probably go through like 35 different brushes, trying to find the one that feels right. Probably want to give up at some points, but just persevere. I promise you'll find a brush that you like. Alright everyone, that is all that we have for today. I just want to say thank you so much for watching. I hope that this could be of use to you in any way. I shall see you all next time, wherever that may be. I stream Wednesday through Friday, 4 AM GMT, I believe 9 PM PST, about 12 PM Western Australia time. I also just want to say thank you for all the support. It means a lot to me. And yeah, so If you let me know what else you would like me to do a tutorial on, I would appreciate it. And if you followed me as well, I mean subscribe, that would also mean a lot, and like the video and share it to everyone. Share it to everyone, all your friends, family, subscribe, blocked, permanently banned off the internet, or I will ban you. I will find you if you do not subscribe for legal reasons. That is a joke, and also ethical reasons, and also just because it's not true. I would not do that. Okay, bye.